It started with silence. Not the peaceful kind, but a thick, suffocating quiet that pressed in from all sides. Radios died. Phones rang with no answer. Birds vanished from skies. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. In Asheville, a town of 312, the silence took root. People stopped talking. Their eyes dulled, faces frozen in mute terror. No screams, no cries, just stillness stretching across the streets like a second skin. Then came the fog. Heavy and unnatural, it crept in without warning. And with it, the townspeople began to move. Slowly, deliberately, as if drawn by an unseen signal. Families turned on one another, not in rage, but in eerie calm. It was as though they'd surrendered to something only they could hear. They became known as the hushed. The warnings came too late. The hush didn't moan or growl. They didn't run. They crept silently, their breath the only hint of their presence. If you looked into their vacant eyes too long, you'd hear it, a frequency not audible but felt. It echoed in your skull. Once you heard it, you couldn't resist. You joined them. By the second week, Asheville was gone. So were the surrounding towns. Streets lay abandoned. Dogs barked at empty air, then fell still. Sound itself seemed to retreat from the world. One emergency broadcast managed to survive the silence, looping endlessly across a forgotten channel. Do not listen. Do not look. If you hear the silence, run. A few survivors resisted. They boarded up homes, whispered behind barricades, and stared at the creeping shadows outside. The silence grew heavier, more present, pressing against walls and minds alike. It wasn't just absence, it was a force. Alive, waiting. Fear gripped them, but some began to fight back. They spoke, whispered, sang, made noise in defiance. Small acts of rebellion to remember who they were. Anything to drown out the silence. And in those fragile, trembling voices grew a flicker of hope, a belief that maybe, just maybe, the silence could be broken, or it would consume them all.